Alright folks, for the show and tell, we decided to bring some good old 2000s TV, and more specifically, the Canadian one. We prepared 3 TV shows, which range from "That's pretty cool" to "Wait, who greenlit that?" Without further ado, let's get into it.
A silly little show for a silly little guy. Urban Legends presents you with 3 stories each episode, and it's your task to guess which ones are true and which ones are made up, rewarding you with a good feeling if you get all 3 correctly. At the first glance, an innocent 30-minute show to pass time, but 3 episodes deep, you get confronted with stories you'd never guess to be real. A man faking his death to avoid his wedding, falling through a sewer, alligator scares, and many other gruesome stories. The show was released in 2007 and ended in 2011. It has 48 episodes which are freely accessible on the internet if you ever wish to wager a guess. I'd call Urban Legends a fun show to watch with friends and speculate about.
Moving on to number 2, Canada's Worst Driver. Surely this ought to have some criminal consequences. In this show, Andrew Younghusband, and yes, that is his real name, sets out to do exactly as the title suggests, to find Canada's worst driver. 8 people, nominated by their loved ones, must complete numerous challenges and succeed in order to not be the worst. They all have their little, practically insignificant quirks that mark them as bad drivers, such as driving and drinking, driving and texting, a history of numerous hits and runs, panic attacks on the road. You get the point. The challenges consist of tasks of different difficulty, from simply getting to the so-called rehab, through driving head-on into a wall, only turning away at the last second, to a challenge where they have a water tank installed on the roof of their car and they must avoid any spillages. The show is infuriating to watch, and believe me when I say that the end brings no satisfaction. After the worst driver is chosen, Andrew simply lets them get on with their life with 0 consequences.
Are you a fan of nature? Horror films? Cowboys? Or are you perhaps just really into watching people get chased through a forest? Well, in that case, Man Tracker might be just the show for you. Resident Alberta cowboy Terry Grant chases down his prey along with one of his many bloodthirsty sidekicks. The prey, 2 contestants, win the game if they reach the finish line before getting caught. They must trek through 17 to 60 kilometers of thick woods, covering all sorts of terrains, sometimes having to rock climb in order to avoid the trackers, who are, by the way, on horseback, trying to catch them with lassos. Well, what do they win for completing such a grueling task? Nothing. Well, they get to keep their lives, I suppose. All in all, I'd say that this is an insane idea for a TV show, and even though it's clearly fake, some of the shots could definitely pass for a horror movie scene. Man Tracker aired from 2006 with a weird end in 2012, as the official end of the show was announced 5 years later in 2017. So, those were our 3 picks. We hope you enjoyed them and feel free to check them out. After all, we all know that bad TV is the best kind of TV. That's all, folks.